Welcome to the Mile High Hoops podcast. I am Jake Shapiro, and we are talking Nikola Jokic here in Denver. He has been unbelievable, and we're talking about one of the best playmakers in NBA history, and he might win a scoring title this year. He's averaging 32.3 points per game. Giannis Antetokounmpo is leading the NBA at 32.5 points per game. And the reason why Nikola Jokic is averaging that many points per game is because this last weekend, he scored over 100 points in one weekend. Goes to Washington, has 56, career high, then follows that up in Atlanta with 48. He was fantastic. Unfortunately, the Nuggets were not, losing to the NBA's worst team in Washington, and then they came back and pounded Atlanta. Now they've got several days off before their next game, sitting here at 12-10, and the Nuggets haven't won back-to-back games in quite some time, over almost a month now. They've got Nikola playing an absolute absurd amount of minutes for this early in the season, 38 minutes a game. He's leading the NBA in rebounding, has a career high there, is pacing for a career high in assists, and it is the three-time MVP, Nikola Jokic, playing better than he's ever played before, shooting 50% from three, by the way, as well. And yet the Nuggets are still struggling. And it's not like it's the injuries. Yeah, there's some injuries. Jamal's missed some time. Nikola's missed a couple games. Aaron's missed about half their games. But they have about, I think the 8th fewest man games lost in the NBA so far. They are going to hit an easier portion of the schedule from now until about like January 3rd, 4th or something like that. So they could really take off record-wise, end this stretch something like 16-11, or, really cover up for some of the issues that are going on with the team. But I don't think that we should forget this stretch of basketball and what it's revealed to us and how thin the Denver Nuggets are. The issues that continue to pop up is that the team struggles to stop teams from shooting and making threes. And on the other end, the Nuggets don't shoot many threes and don't make that many threes. And Michael Porter Jr., love him. He is getting into the paint more, set a career high for points in the paint against Atlanta, but he is struggling to shoot from three. And maybe it's because defenses can really key on him because he's their only real shooter from deep. And that's probably why Nikola is shooting so many threes right now, because he knows he needs to help space the floor. He's gone up from 2.9 threes a game last year and 2.2 during the championship season to 4.4, shooting at a 50% clip. So Nikola is doing anything that is needed for him to do, right? Like, he is stepping up and contributing in ways that are morphing his game maybe into the player that he isn't on an everyday basis, right? Like, he is not this three-point shooting juggernaut who just wants to score, right? That's not his preferred play style. But he knows the Nuggets need it, because it's the only hope that they can save their season, is Nikola being 33 a game, shooting 50% from three. The Nuggets cannot beat the Wizards, even with Nikola Jokic. They couldn't beat the Wizards because they couldn't stop Jordan Poole shooting from three. They struggled against the Cavs, who feature Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, smaller guards who get off from three. They've struggled against James Harden. They've struggled against Norman Powell, smaller guards who get off from three. Kyrie Irving, smaller guard who can shoot threes. The Nuggets have a problem, and it's the same problem they had before Kentavious Caldwell-Pope came here. And it makes life a lot harder for Nikola Jokic because guys are going to get free runs at the rim because the Nuggets' perimeter defense is so weak. And their only guys out there that are really, truly good perimeter defenders are Christian Brown, Peyton Watson's okay, and Aaron Gordon's okay. And my hope is that when Aaron Gordon gets fully back into shape from this recent injury, they'll stem the issues of perimeter defense a little bit more. But what they need is not on their roster. Like, Julian Strawther could turn into a decent defender, but they need a stopper, a point of attack stopper. And that's what Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was. And it's something that doesn't get talked about enough because it's not really in the numbers. Tried to warn people on this podcast about what losing KCP would mean. And we're seeing it. It means Nikola Jokic is having to work overtime, particularly without Jamal Murray, who missed the last 2 games. And we have no idea what is going on with him injury-wise or mentality-wise. There looked to be some infighting during that Cavs game between the team, and the body language was just wretched. So I don't know when Jamal returns, and I don't know what he looks like. Obviously, the simplest solution for this Nuggets season going a lot better and Nikola Jokic not needing to save the Nuggets himself is Jamal turns into a better player. But I think we're seeing just about everything we can from Michael Porter Jr. And he's a really good player, don't get me wrong. But I don't know that he is of that all-star talent, all-star caliber guy like Jamal is when he is on. I think Mike's got a quieter game than that, and that's okay. Aaron's contributions are huge because every time Aaron Gordon is not in there for the Nuggets, the team who has the leading rebounder in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, can't seem to get rebounds. Peyton Watson doesn't rebound. Zeke Naji does not rebound. Dario Saric does not rebound. Michael Porter Jr. does. Russell Westbrook does. Aaron helps. The math problem with this team is so hard to overcome. And their margin for victory, like I've been talking about so much early in this season, is so thin that without Jokic doing things that have never been done in the NBA, I don't know that the Nuggets can really win anything or even a 500 team. Like if Nikola is the guy he was the last 4 years, not this year, the last 4 years, 3 of which he won the MVP, I think the Nuggets are still like a slightly above 500 team. Like they need Nikola to continue at this pace and they need guys to step up. And the bad part is I think Christian's had a good start to the season and he was the biggest question mark, right? Filling in for KCP in the starting 5. I think Aaron's been great when he's played. I think Mike's been great. I think Julian Strother's been really good. I think Russ is giving you exactly what you could have hoped for. It's just Jamal, Peyton Watson, and whatever is going on in the front court behind Nikola Jokic that's really, really holding the Nuggets back and putting so much on his plate. And that's the real reason he's playing so many minutes. We've talked about the roster crunch a little bit, but when you have Duran Holmes and Vlatko Čančar, who are both bigs or front court players, out for the year, DeAndre Jordan's a part-time player at this point. Zeke Naji and Dario Saric seem to be completely unplayable. What do you do for a backup center? And the answer is Michael Malone wants to win games, so he doesn't, and continues to play Nikola Jokic. And I thought that Wizards game was really interesting because there was aspects of it that were very protesty, right? Jokic shooting more than we've ever seen him shoot before, doing the opposite of his prior protests, which is don't shoot, let his teammates shoot. This time it was like, let me shoot because look at what I have to deal with. You saw some frustration on some missed 3-pointers from guys on Jokic open passes, which is rare. And then you have Michael Malone playing some really bad lineups because I think he's just trying to poke the bear, trying to wake them up, make them do something. And after the game, he took the blame, which is fair. I get it. He's the leader. I think that's talk. I think we all know who's to blame for this one. It's Calvin Booth. But Michael Malone, nonetheless, trying to step up and change the fortunes because he realized calling out his team isn't working. He himself now has to call out himself for maybe a change. Will it change anything? I don't know. Like I said, the Nuggets have an easier stretch of game coming here. Maybe they can find some rhythm here during that stretch. They're playing the Clippers on Friday at home. Can they prove some of the issues that have popped up against the Clippers in the past with that perimeter defense stuff? Can they finally topple that? The Kings have been a crap show so far. The Blazers are bad. The Pelicans are bad. And then they've got the Suns twice. Then the Cavs, who are great. Take it back. Pistons, Jazz, Hawks, Spurs. Can they go 7-3 in those games? Definitely. Then all of a sudden they're 19-13. That's not bad. It's pacing for a 5 or a 6. And they need to get above that 6 seed line. And if they get above that play-in line, that 6 seed line, Jokic has done enough to carry them and save them. And maybe by that time, Jamal has found himself. So there is a scenario here where Nikola Jokic can save the Nuggets season because he buoys them through this portion where they look so rough. But I think the roughness isn't a symptom. It's a design problem with this team. It's just designed poorly. It's not a symptom of something's gone wrong mentality-wise or guys are slumping. This is who the Nuggets are. They don't shoot threes. They don't defend threes. And the entire name of the NBA right now is three-point shooting. And it's a little bit different with the math when you've got one of the best inside players in the history of the NBA on both sides. But it's really hard to overcome when there's a more valuable shot than the ones you're taking. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Denver Sports. I am Jake Shapiro. This is the Mile High Hoops podcast. We'll talk to you again soon.